Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. So I'm here with Crustbell and we're going to first showcase the qualifier result and then show you the map pool showcase for EMKT round of 24. And yeah, it's a round of 24 32 because we don't have enough players. So hello Epicman, hello Crustbell.
Hello. Hey, very excited.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we'll just be moving into the seats, right?
Yeah, let's get straight up into it, and we're gonna start with the settings. Okay, so we're starting with those who didn't qualify. No transition. So multi-gaming, Waxy, Sergio, 3367580, Pocket One, Marvefx, Tom is not good, Encryptment, BJX, Secrets, congratulations. You'll did great.
Yeah, once again, we did the format change for this tournament. I don't know whether it was mentioned just before this showcase was presented, but the main reason the format change was done so that it's now a round of 24 instead is because there wasn't a very high amount of players by the time that qualifiers initiated, so that we had to unfortunately cut some losses here to sort of balance the whole tournament out a bit. So yeah, as we can see, I think it's safe to say we can move on to the next tier of these qualifier results. Once again, well done. Okay.
Well done to every player, as you said, and after that, if you guys don't have anything to add, we will move to the 8 next players. There's one missing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, the other.
That was close. That was close. So GG's to myself, to Percy, Sayobatsu, Femfiscar, Blackhood, Baguette de Pain, Police Gaming, and Not PX for qualifying. What can we say about this? So these 8 players, since this is around 24, we'll play against the 9/16th range.
Yeah.
For the first round, and so 24 against 9th, 23rd against 10th, and so on. Let's just say Femfi scores, Sayobatsu, and my Foki scores, because that's really interesting and that's kind of representative of how the tournament will go on for us. Which maps we will and will not pick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a pretty interesting dynamic, this whole tournament, with players who specialize with the higher keys and the lower keys, so these matches are gonna be pretty interesting, I think.
You know what's interesting? Look at Baguette de Pain's score on the Tanky map, the placement.
Yeah, just a casual 4th place at 19th seed.
Yeah, 19th seed getting a 4th place the map, and I guess that's kind of representative of skill sets of Baguette, which is probably one of the best tanky players in France and has been for so long, which is also really good, but he still beats me at 4K anyway, so Bro is just too good. He has been a really good player for quite a long time, especially accuracy-wise. What can we say about other players? 6th place for Memphis Core, which is also hard carried by the key map.
Yeah, indeed, and a lot of these scores, especially as you can see on the board here, they're very mixed from each other, very kind of distinguished from like all the key modes that we can see here. And there isn't really like anyone in this bracket, or at least in this sheet that we can see here, that actually has like a very consistent like sort of lead when it comes to these kinds of maps in general, or at least like when it comes to the maps we can see here, considering that there's only about 7 of them, ranging from the 4K to 10K side of things. And we can already see that like some of these, it's really just about like how well these players can do in like whichever map. And it is kind of rare that we're even gonna be seeing like on someone that's potentially good at like every single key mode from what I can see here, or at least like just glancing over the sheets. Let's see.
We're at the point where the players, they're either like me, they are okay at everything, but they don't have a huge strength in any of the key modes, so we can see results that are more or less even. We can also see that for Blacku, even if he has a little better scores on the 4-key and the 7-key maps. And then there's like the complete opposites, where Baguette de Pain, which has much better rankings than the modes the key modes that involve the pinky. Yeah, he also has a 9th place 9-key map, which is really high. Bro has the pinky mastery, and most players that are over him, Sid doesn't have. So indeed. Yeah, that's crazy. That's the same for Memphis Core pretty much, which we can clearly see that he clearly is a tanky main. Alright, yeah. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Not really.
Okay, so I guess we can move on to 13 to 16 now. Okay. Oh, okay, you're going to 9th already, that's fine, I guess. Kuheri, insane consistency across all maps. Like, you can see Bro is good at everything. He's very consistent. He doesn't have like strengths.
Yeah, no particular weaknesses there.
Yeah, no particular weakness either. Unlike Screechell, who has more struggle on 5 to 7 key, but got number 2 on 10 key. Yeah. Screechell, absolutely crazy. Congratulations. We got our matchup. So we can't really see those under already for 21st and 22nd. But we got Kuheri that's going to play his first match against Akairo against Paulis Gaming, Draven against Baguette, Tyrannix against Blacku, Freak against me, Percy against Chungfun, and I've already forgot who was 21st and 22nd. But we got our matchups already. We will later eventually. What do you say? Oh yeah, Freak also the 9-key map. We got a lot of high scores on the 9-key maps already. Like those who got top 8, for some of them they are not as strong on the 9-key and 10-key maps, so they just went through with all their 4 to 7 key skill, usually the ones that do not use their pinkies. Number 4 by Chungfun on 7 key map as well. and Aki as well. Really good scores. Any other score that's quite high that you guys see? Number 5 on Aki by Vigatron. Number 5 on 9Key by Screechal again.
I think these lower matches will be quite exciting, just considering players have very specific skill sets in specific key modes, so really curious to see how the matches are.
Yeah, that's actually gonna be very interesting to see matchups like Draven against or not PX versus Crew Harry, which might lead to very close matchups, which would be interesting to see. Or even Tyranics against Black Crew, like... No, actually that's gonna be more focused about the one who plays tanky 98K better, which seems to be Tyranics from what I'm seeing. Black Crew seems to be struggling a lot on higher key mode. Okay. Anything else to add?
Not really. Everything else was pointed out.
Oh wait, okay, no, I have.
Oh yeah.
Chunk Fun scores on 4 to 8 key. Then you see the 9 key and the 10 key scores. Like, that's really interesting to see because the Pinky enters in the game and the scores just fall off.
Yeah.
He's not the only player like that. Like, we can see that for Tyro as well.
Yeah, I think I have one thing to add about this seedings here. So because of the format change to round of 24, basically the top 8 players that have the top 8 people in the leaderboards for the seedings are not going to will not like have a match to play during the round of 24. So they will advance to the round of 16 like first thing. So we can essentially find out who made it free, who got a free ticket into the round of 16.
Yeah.
Above these players.
All right, we got. That's that's enough already. Yeah, okay, Mila, congratulations on top 8. I remember him telling me a bit earlier that he scared not to get top 16, and yeah, he actually did okay. He just had a lower score on the 8 key maps. Like I could clearly see that on the 8 key map he was struggling a lot more than the others, and we can see it on his setting, his pro map. A little stronger on 4 key to 7 key compared to 9 and 10 key. And that's also because the skill sets of the players that are here were a lot of players who registered are 10 key mains, which wouldn't really be the case in a lot of other tournaments. So that's quite a nice score. What to say about Lucas getting 2 every mob from 4 to 7 key? He got 7 seed because 8 key to 10 key got him to struggle a ton. But yeah, these scores on the 4 7 key maps are insane, and it shows opponent that you will struggle against in the 1v1 phase. Seed 7. He might beat you on every map that's 4 key to 7 key. Unless that's this one guy that we will see later, which had a really insane performance that you guys will see when we'll get to top 3. Rodrigov didn't get a single top 3, but very consistent. Lowest score being 4-key, much more key modes master than physical player. From what we can see there, every score was insane anyway. Like score is higher than Clamati, who has a better placement. So yeah, this is really interesting to see. Number 4 on the 9-key map, which is his highest, but his lowest is only number 14. Then Clamati, number 3 on 4-key, 6-key, and 8-key, number 4 on 5-key, but we had our first number 1 on the map. Yeah, 24-20 on 9-key, 10-key, so those who play against Clamati will have an idea of what to pick at first, I guess. What to predict, what they want to play against him, which will be a little less for players like or for players like Jerem, that we can see where his scores are basically very balanced. Number 5 on the 4-key map, only number 11, which is already quite high, are key and 7-key maps. This I know for a fact that his early game is extremely scary, so the first rounds it's not really representative that he got it key and 7-key map. It's probably much higher if the pool was easier. We can see also a number 3 on the 10-key map, which is a crazy score as well. What do you guys have to say on this?
Yeah, this is definitely the part of the seeding sheet where we can definitely see a lot of turmoil when it comes to these scorings themselves. Like, we can definitely see that we have a bunch of more scores that are on the higher caliber of the spectrum already. I think we can see the first number 1 top seeding score for the maps, like over here on the side of Roderick, Clamati, who's going number 1 on the 7K map. So, and also number 3 on the 4K, 6K, and 8K maps. So, and obviously Lucas being nothing to scoff at either, getting second seed on the 4K to 7K maps in general. So, this is definitely the stage where you get to see a lot of these players, and definitely gives a ton of information about how these individual players are going to be performing potentially in the tournament. While they're not playing in the round of 24, the people making it into the round of 16 after this following weekend, we'll definitely have to take note of these players, and especially the top 3, which I think we could probably get to see in a bit.
Okay, Crustbell, anything?
Well, I think it's really interesting. Like, I think this is one of the only tournaments where you find two-digit placements in the high seeds. I think that speaks for how exciting the high seed matches will be, having these strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, number 3, Seneca, congratulations, 3rd place. I was spectating him while he was doing his qualifiers, and goddamn, I was actually shocked by how well he played. Like, he was actually crazy to see some of his scores. His 5K score was crazy. I didn't expect him to be that high on the 4K map, and I thought he would do better on 7K and 6K map than the 4K one, but turns out he didn't, because the 7K players out there are really ET. He struggles as well on, but not as much as Clamati and Lucas and seeding. So third place, and there's 2 players remaining. For those who follow who do you guys think second? Chat. I'm looking at chat right now. Well, who will be the first to find who got second place? Okay, we got an answer. We got an answer. Okay, let's just get straight up to it. Number 2 and then number 1, because we all know players. It's not really used to not show the number 1. Yeah. Look at Summit 10k. Look, and this is what I wanted to point out. Look, the thing is, Summit did not play the tanky map because he had to go to work before being able to even do his second attempt on the 90 map. So what did he do? He just left the game and went to...
That's so Sigma.
Even without playing the tanky map, he got number 2 seed. Like, that's actually insane. This guy's level, and like, tanky would have buffed him. Like, naturally against Baguetka that you can see got number 1 basically every map except the 7 key. The 7 key score being actually insane as well. And yeah, Summit number 2 with a 1 map. This guy is to look at because you guys, if you play against this guy, you're gonna struggle a goddamn ton because this guy is way too cracked, especially at 8 key to 10 key. Like, we can't see his 10 key score there, but I think he would definitely have gotten number 2 on it as well. And yeah, Baguetka yeah, Baguetka pretty much destroyed it. Let's just say there was no match for Baguetka anywhere else on the 7 key map. So congratulations Baguetka for number 1 on qualifiers. What do you guys have to say about this Summit or Baguetka performance?
I think you've basically already said everything, to be honest.
Very dominating qualifier performance.
Yeah.
Crazy.
These players were in the same lobby. So we gotta thank Summit because he streamed his POV on Twitch. And yeah, it was really interesting to watch. So yeah, what to say more about this? I think nothing. Congratulations to every player, whether they qualified or not. Thank you all for participating. For those who didn't qualify, to see you on the next one. Rating isn't okay. Okay, I'm the ratings. So you get the ranks on the maps. Yeah, read rules. Yeah. You get the ranks on the maps, and if you got number 1, you got 24 points, and if you got 24th, you got 1 point, and if you got 25th or worst placement, you got 0 points, and it's just all these points added, and it gave the ranking. Yeah, Patus explained it. Okay. I guess that's all we have to say. We can go to the Maple Showcase now.
Yep, and the Maple Showcase, in case you're not familiar with the Maples, like, in this tournament, basically, knowing that it is from 4K to 10K, each key mode has, like, 2 individual maps for each key mode, so there's gonna be, like, 1 Rice map per key mode and 1 Ellen map per key mode, and that's going to be a common theme for the rest of the tournament, I believe, from what I can see here. So yeah, I think we can get started with the map pools. So starting off with the 4K Rice map, it is going to be the first custom 129 by Danny PX.
Thank you, Danny PX, for mapping. Okay. Why is this ×2?
Oh, the scroll speed.
I think the replay is a bit fast. Yeah. Okay, that was a cursed moment. We will restart it.
Oh,
Okay.
let's go.
Okay, now this makes more sense.
Yeah. So yeah, the map starts off with some of these relatively straightforward like rice stumps. If you are familiar with Danny PX's maps, especially in tournaments like 4DM, for example, you would probably have familiarized yourself with like some of these kind of more abrasive types of dumps that are maybe a bit more prevalent in his style, or when it comes to these earlier game rice maps, for example. And you basically already see you get some of these graced hands and some of these graced chords as well, and just overall very, very light patterning just before you get into this chorus, where you get to see a bit more souls going into this color-based chorus and stuff. You get a lot of these mid jacks and a lot of these jacks as well, alternating between bursts and jacks of the like.
Yeah, very good mix of patterns right there. A lot of the patterns feel kind of swingy and techy, so can be hard to act.
Very gracie, yeah. And it's not really surprising. Danny PX mapping, which really likes tech maps and really likes to map tech from what as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I think that is definitely one of his stronger suits, and you can see here, like, going into this final chorus, this is the final quarter of the map, but you get to see a lot more of the flavor that is incorporated within this map. You get a lot of these really dense jacks, and also just overall some of these dense bursts as well that you gotta really, like, keep yourself intact for, because this can definitely trip up a lot of players, especially if they're not as well-versed in the 4K side of things, for example, as the map closes out on this final synth. And that will conclude Rice 1 for the 4K side.
Yeah, I love the name of the guy who as well.
Swag.
Swag.
Yeah, that was a really technical map. That's only round of 24 difficulty, so imagine the maps. I'm kind of scared of how hard the maps are later. Okay, let's get straight up to the 4K LN with this banger by Gomadari, Resolver.
Yeah, Resolver going to be taking a bit of a different direction to 129, as we have seen earlier. So yeah, following a relatively similar format of, you know, basically a relatively dense kind of dump tech map. This is going to kind of take it in a similar direction, but not quite. It is still relatively technical, but this song being a bit more complextro-oriented. You can see from these coordination-oriented patterns as well, and some of these bursts as well, that this is already relatively tight. So yeah.
The shields, bro.
Yeah.
We can see the shields. And, yeah, that's probably good to eat for players who don't have the coordination. Man, that song is too good!
Yeah, going into this course, you get to see a lot of these interesting rhythm changes that you gotta really follow with the LNs, and with the fact that literally everything is thrown at you at once, it doesn't really help but just simply bring fuel to the fire, as we can see here. But that just makes this map in general like all the more interesting. Being mapped by Chai030, forgot to say that earlier on, but yeah, this is basically the course, you get a lot of these really dense sort of wildcardy technical LN patterns as well that you really gotta keep yourself like paying attention to all these LN slams and so on, and especially with the fact that it's kind of swung as well, so that can definitely pose as a challenge to most players in this tournament, especially.
And this is one of the longer maps in the map pool, so gonna require some consistency.
Yeah, that looks really long. We're only at 2/3 of the maps. Okay, this is a little tech part, which is not as LN heavy as the other. That's still really hard to hit, even if you're rice main.
Yeah, second course here. Definitely not... Basically taking a similar direction to the first course, albeit the song itself kind of taking some more influence. You get a lot of these streams and a lot of these like really dense like releases and jacks that you gotta like really pay attention to that are just simply blended in with these LNs as well and just these walls in general. So definitely one challenge that these players are going to have to face on the LN side of things for the 4K, and you can especially get it, although this is the end map, it just simply closes out with this piano solo in the background and some slap bass and that final shield there. Oh dear. Yep. But now we can move on to the next key mode. So that's going to be the 5K maps. So, yep. Starting off with
3R2.
Yep.
Okay, 3R2. So for those who don't know this artist, if I remember correctly, he's the one who made The Truth Never Spoken.
Yeah.
And he has made Spring Carnival, which was a song that was used for 7K MWC 2025 Qualifier code stream.
Yeah.
Really good artist as well. He usually makes songs that are much more happy hardcore, faster than that, and a bit less chill. Sounds really chill. Looks very techy, but not very hard in terms of physicality, not as much as the...
Yeah, whole like first half is pretty chill with some not so physical patterns, but we're gonna be getting into some jump stream very, very soon, or some kind of stream.
Yeah, this song takes a very stark contrast in terms of song intensity compared to the previous two songs. So, like, this one, despite not being as, like, very electronica oriented, this is essentially like a bit of a bossa nova, like, inspired song with some aiming breaks in the background, and that just influences a lot of the more technical, like, jump streams or streams that you can see here in this map, especially, and some of these mini jacks as well. But this map is relatively short as well, only clocking at just under 2 minutes of length, as you can see.
It's good to see chill songs in this kind of pool as well, because usually we see a lot of hardcore songs, like it's rare nowadays to see really chill songs in these tournaments, and it's really good to see one.
Indeed. But with that aside, we can move on to the 5K, the 5-key LN maps. That is going to be none other than Timeline. So this one going to be a collab. This one's going to be a collab, actually. It's going to be a collab between Rio, the mapper behind interludes we've seen earlier, and also Array's self, so the host of this tournament as well.
Oh, that song!
Yep.
I'm so glad this song has been mapped in another key mode than 7.
Indeed.
Flume is such a great artist. Yeah, Tag Jun song. Yeah, Shangford said it in the chat. Those who don't know who Tag Jun is a very well-known mapper in the 7-key community, and he has mapped and ranked a lot of songs by Plume in 7-key.
A lot of good piano songs.
Yeah, indeed, and this song definitely different to the map we've seen. Definitely different to Interlude as we've seen earlier. So this map, this map is basically a lot more kind of coordination density oriented. It's kind of a mix between the two that is kind of not too distinguishable. You can basically just see, you can basically just get the gist of it, just seeing these patterns here. You get a lot of these streams, a lot of the LN density thrown in as well, and some coordination in the beginning, so yeah. And especially
it's a lot of noodles and fries.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like a dish.
This song is called Timeline, to answer the chat. It's Timeline by Plume.
Yep, and that concludes the 5K maps as well. So now we can move on to the 6K maps, in which are gonna be definitely quite unique, knowing what we're gonna be starting off with. It's gonna be none other than Brain Fog by level 51.
Yeah, we're this song is known for being the mapped on a really technical way in 4-key. Like for those who have played 4-key for long enough, they know the shoegazer 4-key map of this song, but they also know like the old Dan 4 reform take, which also used this song, but it got changed, if I remember correctly, because it was not really balanced.
Yeah, lots of players will recognize this, I think.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, as you can see here, definitely a lot is going on in this map. Kind of similar to some of the Rise maps that we've seen so far, but not as technical necessarily. This is a lot more bracket-oriented now that we kind of get introduced to them going into the likes of 6K, and you can definitely see a lot of it here going quite technical with this rhythm change section, and some of these mini jacks as well that can definitely throw some people off. It takes a bit more finger dexterity, but just the right amount to sort of balance it for this pull as well. You can see some of these streams and delays like on here, but then you get a bit of a break section right after, so you get to at least break away from the madness for just a bit before you have to get thrown in right after.
And the layering of this map is so satisfying to play. Like, just quite comfortable for the fingers. Compared to the 4-key chart especially.
That looks more comfy, but these mini jacks look still hard, like correctly and not press the wrong finger. And as I said for the 4-key, I didn't 5-key. If this is round of 24, then how hard will be the 16 and so on?
Very hard.
It's gonna be scary.
Very hard. Yeah, this tournament is really special because you know the round 3 oriented towards raw skill already very early. More conventional tournaments where we start off with much easier maps. Alright, let's get straight up to the 6K LN map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this map going to be taking another different direction from the maps we've seen so far. Going to be Not a God by Alptron. So this one being the more Ellen-oriented map for the 6K side of things. This is definitely quite technical. You get like introduced with a sort of coordination-oriented section with some really small like Ellen flams thrown in as well that can definitely throw some people off if they are not too careful enough. Got a lot of these, but and especially in the 6K realm as well, it's just all the more harder because it just requires you to press just even more keys, and the finger dexterity that it would require on both hands. It's just a lot harder knowing that you're most likely to be using your ring fingers and also your middle fingers as well to at least like hold down some of these LNs while you have to hit some other notes on the side as well.
Yeah, just being the higher key mode, I think this is the first time we see like really dense coordination, so yeah, this is a much harder map, I think. A lot of these bursts are so heavy.
I like this. This looks really release oriented. You really need to read in between the lines.
Yeah, indeed, and you get it especially with this map in general, where it's like it's essentially just coordination and release tech, like thrown in with a bunch of like technical bursts as well that just make it all the more harder, essentially.
That's the kind of maps I would like to see in every keyboard LN, to be honest. Like, most of the map is not like insanely hard keyed, but the coordination and reading and in general the pattern mastery required for the map looks much more interesting to see. The right spot there.
I think a lot of players who specialize more in 4 to 7 key will be attracted to this map more. Especially so.
Evil map. Hi, cheers. Yeah, I guess it's evil. Like, I've seen that the mini jacks while holding the LNs on the same hand. That looks really evil. But that sounds really fun. Senzai vocalist of this song, which everyone knows for being the vocalist of Duplicity Shade. Talking about Duplicity Shade, the 7 key map, let's get to 7 key Rice map. This pool. Song by Siyura, Zegalta.
Yep. So immediately going to be proceeding to the 7K category. We've got none other than Zegalta Siyura mapped by Vinkus. So yeah, going to be the 7K Rice map. This is going to be a lot more technical. Maybe not as abrasive as some of the maps we have seen earlier on the Rice field, for example. But you can still definitely see a lot of really technical patterns, as you can see here. A lot of these double staircases, and also just overall very anchor-oriented patterns. I'm not really sure how to describe this, knowing I'm not really as versed when it comes to 7K terminology, but a lot of this is very rolly, as you can see. A lot of these staircases as well, and just overall representing some of these dumps as well. It takes a lot of basically very control-heavy map, as we can see here.
Yeah, the map looks clean, but like that's from Vinkus. It's a when the map has this kind of flow, makes it kinda comfortable despite the really few mini brackets at some parts.
I feel like the rhythms and whatnot in this map are pretty straightforward, but I feel like there's also a lot of unconventional like transitions between the streams. So like even despite the star rating, I felt like this was quite hard.
Yeah, star rating is not really the thing to like these that are a little tech oriented. The jacks, oh yeah, oh my god. Yeah, that seems like difficulty burst, especially in terms of physicality. There's the players who are like the jack mains who are not really gonna struggle on this pattern, but there's other players who are much less, which will struggle much more. This ending looks so fun.
Yep.
That looks really fun to play.
Agreed.
Played by Shade Schizo. I think this is Erased. This is Erased himself. Well, thank you, Vinkus, for mapping 7 key rice. Let's get straight up to 7 key Ellen map now. Niyun, mapped by Kobe. I don't know this artist.
Yeah, this song, Diva's Aid is... I don't know if I'm butchering the pronunciation here, but yeah, this song taking a different approach to the type of song choice that we have been seeing so far. We've got a fair share of rather intense electronic songs, some of these like more chill songs. I'd say this song is like maybe more on the chill side of things, albeit this is more of a J-pop song. So this one clocking in around maybe 100 BPM if I remember correctly. This is definitely a lot more coordination oriented, but it's also like fairly technical, as you can see from like some of the later parts in the map, and it definitely makes a little more sense when you get to at least see that, and it definitely makes a little more sense when you get into the first chorus, which is just going to appear in just a bit in terms of it being like rather technical in question.
This map looks like it has been made by an ET mapper, and that's not really surprising because Kobe is close to Bloco ET, so he has to become ET as well at some point.
Everyone has to. There's no way.
Every player in the tournament is ET, right?
Wait, so does that mean everyone is just Bloco at that point?
Yeah, everyone is Bloco in disguise.
True.
Ichi, so apparently some people in the jam might know Ichi means extraterrestrial. It's basically when the mapper or the player is way too good that we say that he's an alien.
Yeah. But yeah, going through the map, this is the final quarter of the map in question, and you going into the final quarter, basically a repeat of what you've seen from the other courses so far, or at least like maybe the first course, but a bit more technical. You get some more flammed lens that you gotta like at least keep in touch with, otherwise it is definitely going to throw you off. And as you can see, that missed air definitely just goes to show exactly how this map can be a bit of a nutcase to deal with in terms of like just trying to hit these patterns, but especially finger dexterity required, it is just only becoming harder and harder, especially on these Ellen maps in question, the more technical they get here. Although that is going to conclude the song, that is going to conclude what we've seen of Diva's Aid. So yep, I suppose we can move on to the 8K side of things.
I gotta say first, Kobe, you're goated just for mapping this, because looking through all the map, this looks way too good.
Yeah, the song is banger.
That looks way too fitting for the maps. Like to me, so far that looks like the highest quality map. Let's get to the 8K Rice map. Museo Disco Boscole. 7+1 key. The guy who has made the replay is really just by holding the notes, you know, even if it's not necessary.
This one in particular is so BMS score. I love this.
I mean, 7+1 key is BMS score.
Yeah.
Basically, so that's not really surprising. So
Like
yeah,
the way it's precious, yeah.
To answer chat again, this is a 7+1 key. So I guess in a way that's 8 key because you know you use or not because I was talking with a few players after the qualifiers or while the qualifiers were happening and yeah, I am using another keyboard or tablet buttons as with my foot for the scratch lane. 5 head strat.
What?
Yeah, some players do that. Apparently, that's easier for not getting your brain messed up by doing something different than 7 key with your hands.
Yeah, if you thought that 7K wasn't actually that bad or something, or 5K for that matter, with how you gotta press the middle note, or at least like the yellow notes you can see here with the space bar, just wait. Just this key mode is definitely here to at least shift your argument. Just the fact that you have to hit so much with your pinky finger, for example, or perhaps like anything that you find just as comfortable is definitely going to pose that much of a challenge. But yep, other than that, this does conclude Disco Sakura, and we can move on to the 8K LN map. So yep, this one actually has a bit of a gimmick actually. 1, 2, 3, 4 by
And
Erase and
map.
Beacon.
Okay, this is a 7K+1 again. Okay, we haven't seen too much scratches for now, except on big courts. Now the real question is how hard will the scratch be? The LNs are. This map already reminds me of the in terms of patterns for the kind of rolly LNs.
Yeah, so funny thing to mention, basically it is apparently known that this map in specific is a little overshot for the difficulty of this round, especially as you can see with these coordination or density orient elements as you can see here. But yeah, another thing to know is that apparently a lot of the structure in this map is actually based around literally counting down the amount of the numerics like in order. So you get to see it more in like specific sections, but this one you can sort of like see it in a more subtle manner. That there is like literally 2, 3, and then 4 notes as well, like when it comes to these chords as well. So definitely a bit of that's a bit of a small detail that the mapper wanted me to point out in the stream as well, for those curious.
This is even without the scratch harder than the cooked 7K LN map. The shields are crazy, bro.
Yeah.
We're not at round of 10, we're at round of 24. Like this is like first week. Imagine if next week map is harder than this. Like how hard this will be.
I mean, it's bound to be there. my god, hitting those jacks with the freaking pinky finger as well. Oh no. But yeah, that is going to put the go in 1, 2, 3, 4 as it reaches the finish line in length. And we can now move on to the 9K maps. So only 4 maps remain in this map pool showcase. Hard to believe, I know, but we can move on to Nemuri Nime no Vawaiju by
against Yura, which is like the first artist to get two different songs for this round. I don't know if there's gonna be any other, but that sounds like mappers like Sierra, which is not a bad thing because Sierra is a great artist. This map looks much less row skill oriented than every other Rise, but that's 9K.
Yeah.
Very burst destruction on this one.
Yeah, indeed. And this map, I guess in a way you could say that it is kind of a bit of a fair contrast from what we've seen earlier from Zagalta from earlier. So like this one, kind of similar in map structure in terms of being technical and having like some relatively technical patterns as well, some of these bursts as well. But with this one being less sort of rhythm game oriented, it's a bit more like D&B oriented, I'd say. Like I think you should be able to see it like when it comes to the chorus here. You get some of these like relatively finicky like technical patterns that you gotta like pay attention to as well. Maybe these are polyrhythms, but I'm not sure. But it seems like it from here.
Good song.
Yeah, the brackets coming out here is relatively difficult for what you'd expect from the song, let's say.
We might start seeing the first pinky brackets. This is gonna be really hard. Yeah. Jump down in row skill, but not jump down in actual difficulty, because you know Nike is much harder. It's much more demanding in terms of finger coordination and independence, as well as the pinky's mastery, just that, which is really hard. Let's get to the Nike LN map. Somewhere I'd rather be. I wish his Mania star rating rework. Does that mean the map is?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I can already see how wide the map. I hope one day.
Yeah.
Wait, Roofker Madness, bro. Roofker is a goat, bro.
Yeah, Roofker mapped this one. Roofker. Oh, how do I pronounce that? Roofker?
You just say roof.
Roof.
You need like bark.
Yeah, yes, in his bio.
Oh, okay. I don't have a driver's license, guys. Please don't ask me about it. if you were about to, at least. Roof.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a really coordination slow map. The kind of map I wanted to see. That's really cool.
Yeah, indeed. This map, with this song being like a bit of a calmer piano piece in comparison to Timeline as we've seen earlier, it's basically this map is maybe just as difficult as some of the other Ellen maps as we've seen, because like, albeit this is on the easier side of things in terms of coordination, it's really just about the mental difficulty that comes into play here that is going to take such a heavy toll on the players, especially with the fact that it just takes a ton of finger dexterity to at least get by with this pick, with something like this. Especially, you gotta really like remain in control when it comes to what fingers you are pressing and which spot they are in, because if you press the wrong one, then that is definitely going to put a massive detriment into your score here. But despite that, that is going to wrap up the rest of the keys. We've only got one key mode and 2 maps left to showcase. That's right.
Only the tanky and tanky maps are going to be much less raw skill oriented, but this time we're gonna see the playable tanky maps. My skills suck, I'm back up. Paragon X9 is known for doing the Chaos series. Chaos Japan, Chaos Fantasy. For those who know, is there a TB2? No.
No, there is not.
There's no need for TB. Okay, this might still be a little hard. I would have expected the BPM to be a little. But it sounds like, even if it's much less dense, we might have not a lower BPM than the round just before.
Yeah,
it is 240, but mostly mapped in 1-2, I think.
Yeah, there isn't any 1-4 or any other like dense rhythms in this map. But you do get like a relatively hard like section when it comes to the staircases here, like just switching between the hands and like just trying to like hit the synth here, which is relatively fast paced, and the fact that this is in 10 keys, so that just makes it all the more challenging for the players here.
Slow stairs are killers. That's true. Like, you need to really make sure to use the right finger each time, and if you just press one wrong, it delays every other finger, and that's really complicated. Okay, bitmap by Rove again. Goated mapper. And now let's get to the last map of the pool, the tanky LN maps. Thank you, Outlasted, for mapping this map. Tanky LN coordination. That looks great.
Yeah, final map of the showcase, and it is none other than a freeway collab. So we've seen some collabs thrown in here and there, but this is actually a bit of a different one. We've got Outlasted, Array Self, and Bomb 72 mapping on this one. So this one actually gonna be like relatively chill. It's following yet another J-pop song, none other than what was this one again? Ah dear. What was this called? Oh yeah, this was called Eureka by Roku Danashi. Yeah, okay, there we go.
I wonder who mapped which part.
We'll probably know later in the description. They post.
Yeah, this is nice. That looks actually very nice to play. The LN coordination and tanky.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks way too hard. This is like the hardest one by far.
Yeah.
You gotta not press the wrong finger. That roll looks insane.
This is also the longest map in the map.
Oh, this is the long. Yeah, I could see the time. Yeah, This is like, this is the true tiebreaker, man.
I guess so. I guess you could say that. I mean, imagine literally having to be at a tiebreaker situation and then you're literally in like, and then you're literally having to play a map like this where it's like just very, very filtered down element coordination. Like, go on an upbeat song, of course, but it's very, very light in pattern. Like, you don't, it's really nothing physical, like, at all. It's really just amount the mentals kicking in.
This is the kind of map I might pick, even if I know I'm not gonna win, just because this looks way too fun to play.
It's too fun to play the match.
Yeah.
I think combo is also very valuable here, because there's just not a lot of it. So misses will be especially dangerous on these long note maps.
Yeah, especially the ones after 70. I think it makes it harder to kill, and that's true.
The score V2 combo scoring and all.
Also, yes, in Score V2, you know that in Score V1, if you fail to release, you just get a 200, but here it breaks your combo. Breaking makes you lose score, basically, and then you have to rebuild to a little to for the combo to score the max amount of points again. So yeah, not releasing correctly is very punishing. Derby FC, yeah, man. Derby is too ET at this, man. Bro, if Derby got 12,200, maybe the best player will not get over 960k, man. And even then, this is gonna be really hard. This is one of the slowest maps.
So excited to see this in the matches.
Okay.
Yep.
So that is it. First of all, I would like to say a huge thanks to all the mappers for mapping every single map custom for this pool that is absolutely crazy. Thank you so much. Thank you again to all the players who playing the qualifier for participating in that tournament. Thank you, Epic Man 2 and Crustbell for casting with me tonight. Thank you to Erase for organizing this tournament. And yeah, that's it.
Yep. Once again, thank you, everyone. And we do hope to see you all next weekend for the round of 24 matches. Thank you once again for the showcase, and see you around.